Hello. Welcome to the gay bar. It's the gay bar. Do you know why you're at the gay bar? Because you're gay. But also because it's Check Out the Sky. And we are talking about a different Eidolon campaign than we've talked about before. The one that I'm in, based on the Electric Six songs.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. Well, there goes my intro.
Oh, I can backpedal.
No, don't.
I should let my other co-hosts introduce themselves before taking away more stuff from them.
I'm Emory, and I don't know anything about this campaign or about Electric Six, so I'm here to learn.
Hell yeah.
Pronouns are they, she, he, and whatever.
Hi, I'm Izzy. You can call me a she. Let's start a war. Start a nuclear war.
Yeah, there we go.
Also, 2/3 of us are very sleepy today.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know if I actually said my pronouns, but yeah, I'm Morg. My pronouns, they, he. Obviously a very interesting episode today because of the energy levels of various hosts, but
Yeah, we stayed up too late watching Bondi tell us to throw money at them.
And
that's very on brand for like a previously a Digimon podcast, so I mean
Yeah.
Oh, well, if we're gonna mention it fully, then I want to say they did a very bad job about that, because everything that they were trying to sell had a little asterisk that said it was not available in the USA.
RIP.
Yeah.
That's too bad.
Unfortunate.
What do you even do about that? Like,
well, you can go to, like, a forwarding service.
yeah.
There are websites that'll just, like, buy stuff and then ship it from Japan to you.
Yeah.
Yep.
So.
But that's a lot of trouble to go through, and usually it's pretty expensive.
Damn.
On top of, like, these products already costing a lot.
Yeah.
But hey, new manga, so we got to learn about that.
That's true.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I was like, I guess I will talk about the other Eidolon campaign I do, where actually some of the people in the Check Out the Sky Discord are in it also. Symbolic Godzilla and Cheshamoeba are other people in it. Symbolic is actually the one that's like the DM for that game.
Mm-hmm.
So they'll probably be like, you forgot a thing, or not, I don't know, but that's fine. They can always come on the podcast and fill in the blanks later. But yeah, so I guess I can at least talk about my own guy, though. Their name is Frankie Farley, and they're like a non-binary goth kid who's like young 20s, like, you know, like not that far out of college time period, probably about the age of one of the other players, one of the other characters, not players, one of the other characters, Atsuki Akiyama, who is Chesh's character. I don't think they didn't really, like, the two of them and the third character, who is played by Vapril, who I don't believe is in the Discord, Margarita Mustang. The three of them all work at this place called the Tables and Chairs, and this place is like a bar, restaurant, and like a dancing area, because there's like a dance thing in the center of everything. Dance floor, that's the word. And so the place that the actual restaurant bar thing is located is in an alternate universe version of DC, Washington, DC, that is pulled up into the sky and floating above where it's supposed to be. It's just like an island in the sky.
Like Angel Island.
Yeah. It's like Angel Island, except there's a lot more people on it. And not just one lonely Knuckles. And my cat keeps trying to join into the podcast, but he's blocking my microphone. So if you hear grunts, that's him. And no one questions this because the history of the place has kind of been rewritten by it's implied to be the current president. So like very, Eidolon, pop rock adjacent, but like the president here isn't, is James Carter, different than Jimmy Carter, except not exactly, because there is a song by Electric Six that like references Jimmy Carter and everything. But yeah, he may or may not have made DC float into the sky, and a lot of people, just like are like, that's just normal. Actually.
Yeah. They say there's like a lot of executive overreach, but I think it's like probably fine. I think that, it's not really a problem with democracy if they're just allowed to make the capital float.
Yeah, that's fine. That's normal, right?
I think the checks and balances are working as intended.
Yeah.
The land developers in the area would be thrilled, because they've always wanted to be able to build taller.
This
is a joke for a very small number of people.
Yeah. But the area where it lifted up from is like did get like fucked up, like this isn't just like, it is magically lifted into the sky, but it isn't like magically prevented from like destroying like parts of Maryland and Virginia and stuff that it was originally attached to. So, it's kind of a pain in the ass to get to and from the island. Also, there's like our characters have had to go off the island once, and like we took a like a big truck full of like delivery shit because one of the characters like knew someone. And yeah. But back to the tables and chairs. That's kind of the place where we got our Eidolons, because we were all just like working there. Frankie is like is like a cook there, like a line cook or something. And Atsuki like does like waiter shit. Margarita is like kind of also bartending, but also is like previously the owner's wife, but they're divorced, so there's like some weirdness going on there. And Margarita may or may not be like funneling money away from the tables and chairs. It's complicated. It's fine. It's normal. But there was just like some rowdy customers there that like had like weird magic powers, and one of them was about to essentially, like, it seemed like they were making the owner Midori like fall apart into slime, is kind of what it looked like was happening to her. But we find out later that she was like essentially her like Eidolon became a phantom and like fucked with her, kind of is what was happening there. But because even before, like, Eidolons became a thing, there were people around that had these things called sparks, which are kind of like pre-Eidolon magic powers. And Midori and Margarita were two people that had these sparks. That's why Margarita is playing Veteran Playbook. Veteran Alchemist Playbook, actually. Atsuki is also an Alchemist Playbook. So we have a Veteran Alchemist, a regular Alchemist, and then my character, Frankie, is a wild card. So we have had 3 Alchemists at one point before. That has
Alchemists
happened.
are good.
Yes.
I am obviously not biased.
Well, but at least mine, like, you know, I change it up a little bit. But yeah, I got, like, Frankie got their power, like, dancing on a, like, it seemed like a friend of theirs that was, like, a regular customer, like, helped unlock their Eidolons to help Midori out. And then we were like, oh, fuck, guess we got magic now. And this was kind of, like, crazy for, like, Frankie, who had already, like, they had enjoyed some, like, conspiracy theories in the past, in the sense that they're, like, a little bit like, it is weird that this place is floating. Maybe I should look into that. What's doing this? Without it, you know, being, like, they had to, like, it was kind of, like, they had to deal with a lot of really shitty right-wing conspiracies, and we're like, no, these are all bad. But, hey, maybe magic is real. Maybe aliens did this. I don't know. And then they find out, yeah, it was probably Eidolon shit. So, Frankie having the wildcard playbook, their Eidolon is King Gizzard and the Lizard Wizard.
Oh, yeah.
And I have named various the various playbooks after various King Gizzard songs, because they have so many fucking songs. It just goes on forever. And also, so, like, their default form is, you know, that little, it kind of looks like that 3D, like, gecko that dances, that GIF that dances. I'm sure you've seen it around. I
can't call it to mind immediately, but who knows? I might have seen it somewhere.
Yeah. Except, you know, they have a little wizard hat, and then they have the Nonagon infinity symbol on their hat, because that's, like, the band's, like, symbol, kind of. And then, yeah, they change based on, you know, whatever playbook I have pulled up. And then, so there's been a lot of weird stuff because, you know, it's Eidolon, but, like, also we're messing a lot with, like, going back in time. So there's actually, like, other versions of ourselves running around.
Oh boy. That's always fun.
Yeah. They're just kind of living their life now. I think we only have one set at the moment, because we did, like, a big we went to the Undertow and then popped back up and, like, accidentally popped back up to the real world back in time, and we're like, oh, maybe we should fix some things. And it's funny because Frankie was the one that was, like, the least, like, I don't know if that's a good idea, even though they were the one that was, like, into conspiracy theories before. They've also seen, you know, movies and are like, Groundhog Day type shit. I don't know. Or, there's a better example. But, you know, going back in time, butterfly effect, that's problems. That causes problems. Whereas, it was kind of Margarita's idea. Because she was kind of in charge at first because she was like the oldest. She had some experience with this stuff. And Atsuki is very like, I would think Chesh would agree with me in saying that Atsuki's a doormat. He's a doormat. He gets walked on. He's kind of just terrified of being alone, which, like, fair and same, but, like...
Yeah.
Yes.
Who isn't?
But he does it in a way where he's like, I will bend over backwards and let someone walk all over me in order to be on their good side. And it's like...
No, don't do that.
Love yourself. Love yourself. It's like, yes, I can see myself in that, but also I'm not the one with the magic powers that can actually let myself get walked on, like, less than, like, more than metaphorically, I guess. Like, literally, he would get walked on. He's grown a little bit because he had a phantom fight. But he does still think, like, he's empty inside. Very depressing. Outside, like, I'm always just like, Atsuki is so sad.
He's so sad you laugh.
I am. That's real though. Like, sometimes you gotta laugh because I'm not gonna like cry about it, but I'm like, it's like funny, but it's also not funny, you know? It's hard to put your finger on it because it's like, this dude is kind of over the top. But like,
listen, we all know by this point that I love a character with funny depression. He's got funny depression.
That is true.
Frankie has got funny depression also, but like in a different way. Which they're like uncovering over time, and they're like, oh, trauma, I see. I understand. That's why. Because, like, they kind of knew, you know, they don't talk to their family much anymore, and there's reasons for that, and it's more tied to Eidolon stuff than Frankie ever would have guessed. Because we also had a Frankie Phantom fight, like, recently. Like, we just finished last time. That's kind of part of the reason I was like, Frankie's on my mind, because... my Eidolon went crazy.
Yeah. Boy, what is a phantom fight like with a wild card Eidolon?
Yeah, I was a little bit worried. I was like, Sim, are you sure you want to like do this? But I think they pulled it off. They turned so one of the previous playbooks I've done was People Vultures, which was actually the Alchemist playbook, funny enough, where I turn humans into winged version of themselves. Very cool. But so the music video for that, for People Vultures, is like all the fucking band members in like this big vulture costume that's like kind of ridiculous and motorized. It kind of looks like a float you would see in like a parade, I guess. And like that's kind of what it started off as, but they were like destroying the place and it was out of Frankie's control. And it ended up like shooting lasers out of its eyes and it wanted to destroy the universe, because there is a concept album by King Gizzard and the Lizard Wizard called Murder the Universe. And
oh boy.
They wanted to start with one place and go outwards, and it was very like, I will destroy everything so that I don't have to look inward in myself. Very, like, uh-oh, that's not great.
That ain't ideal.
It started off with this, and we, you know, did an okay job fighting it at first. There was a lot of like close calls, especially because the Phantom fight stuff has changed since I ran our Phantom fight. A lot more like you have to like start off at like a lower health level, but also your health is like doesn't go down quite as easily as it used to. It's interesting, but yeah, like Atsuki almost died. It's fine. He's fine though. Frankie did like face death actually themselves, but they got their resonant card, so they didn't actually face death. Because the whole thing about Eidolon is you get like resonant, dissonant cards, and I don't know how much we've actually talked about like the system itself. I don't need to go into all of it because I guess this is character stuff. But like, yeah, they just pulled a really good card, more or less, and they were just passed out instead of dying. But the reason they passed out is because somehow the other two shrank their Eidolon down and like shoved it in their mouth to try to swallow it and connect it back together with Frankie.
Oh, man.
And it didn't...
I bet that went great.
Yeah,
you ever bore your own soul?
Right, exactly. That's what I was saying. I was like, you're going to make me bore my soul. Oh, no. It didn't work exactly, obviously. But, it was a good idea because there was a change, you know, like it still moved the fight forward. So, you know, there was a crash that happened because they did some crazy shit like that. But they actually had to go inside Frankie's head because Frankie's biggest fear was looking inward. So they had to look inward with Frankie. And so they like that. You know, they did a lot of the like physical fighting beforehand, and it was a lot more like mental gymnastics fighting shit while they were inside Frankie. And the way they got inside Frankie's head was the powers of another shade. And this other shade was a version of Frankie from a different universe. Because
as you do.
The way shades work in this particular version of the game in Eidolon 6 is that they're kind of like echoes of other universes and other versions of yourself. So like not just of yourself, but like people you've met, people you haven't met, people that have existed through time, and like AU versions of yourself or not. We haven't run into a lot of AU versions of ourselves, but we have dreamt about them before. And so, yeah, the AU version of Frankie, Dr. Francis Farley had a power that like could make it so you throw other people to fight an infection or like fight an illness. And we just kind of did some like gymnastics to be like, yeah, that counts. It's a psychic illness. They got to go inside the brain. It's fine.
It's fine. Famously the best way to cure mental illness.
Yeah. Hey, can I get someone to just call in here real quick?
Oh, Frankie's not cured, but they are willing to look inside a little bit more, maybe, after all this. But
so you're saying it works?
I would say maybe a therapist is better, but yes.
Well, yeah, I mean, they get right in there. That's why they have to go to school for so long.
Yeah, they're learning magic in order to get inside your head. That's therapy. So it's the whole like brain thing. Like it took place in something that doesn't exist, but there is a song that has the lyrics Nova Scotian Sea. So they were in the Nova Scotian Sea because there was a plane crash. And they had to, like, find Frankie, who was actually not drowning, because they were like, what if I just didn't? Because this is my brain. But that only goes so far, because they also have to, like, I don't know. I'm, like, getting in the weeds now. I'm sorry. I was just, like, thinking about, like, this sounds kind of weird, but,
I mean, listen, it's an Eidolon campaign. It should be getting a little weird, frankly.
True.
But eventually, like, Frankie found out, / remembered, / you know, actually looked inward for why some of the problems they're having happened is... Part of it is just that, like, they're getting older and they're sad about it, because I was playing myself for a second there, but part of it was also, like, oh, they don't talk to their family anymore because their dad's an asshole, and not just, like, regular school asshole, but, like, I wanted to use my child as a way to bridge some magic gap in order to change the world in my favor kind of asshole.
Okay, so like a Gendo Ikari asshole.
Yeah, like a kind of a Gendo situation.
Hey, I'm giving you a high five for fellow asshole parents and Eidolon buddies.
Yeah. It kind of became that. Like, it didn't start off as, like, I was just like, oh, you know, I was like, oh, I don't know, Frankie doesn't really talk about their family that much. But then eventually they, like, got a phone call from, like, their dad, who was just, like, disappointed in them. And I was like, why? Damn, owned. And then I dug into why, and I was like, oh, it's because he wanted Frankie to do something that they were unable to do, kind of thing. And they even, like, there was also this moment, it was actually a very funny moment, like, earlier in the campaign, where Frankie got, like, something embarrassing exposed about them, which was that they wrote, like, fanfic on this world's version of Harry Potter, more or less, and they're like, this sucks.
Oh boy.
Yeah. They're like, I never wanted anyone to know about my secret fanfic. They're fucking devastated. But that writing eventually became a core component of, like, oh, they showed the writing to their dad, and it gave their dad an idea to give them to, like, make a version of Frankie that was, like, a better kid. like this is my better son.
No.
Yeah, very it's funny because their dad sucks, and 0% of it has to do with the fact that they're non-binary. Like, that's just incidental. They just suck because of all these other things, but they do actually use the correct name and pronouns for Frankie.
Diversity win. The worst bastard you know genders you correctly.
I'm like, yeah. Because I was like, I don't want that. Well, we kind of agreed, like, oh, I don't really want this part of why he sucks. And also, the way the world is set up, it was like, gender is not really as much of a problem here. Like, it comes up, but it's like, you know, let's see what happens. Let's see if we can do that. And yeah. But yeah, Frankie's dad was in some, like, Aleister Crowley shit, some Gendo Ikari shit, who knows. And, was like, because he wants to get to this machine that has been hinted at throughout the campaign, kind of. because the machine was maybe what helped make President James Carter able to change the world to make it so he's like able to do all this crazy shit. He also changed the world to make it so gender was less of a problem for some reason.
Hell yes. Thank you, James Carter.
But yeah, it's kind of nutty. I feel like there's a lot of stuff I'm missing, but it's just because I was like thinking a lot of like what happened recently to Frankie, because that fanfic thing what happened like a while back, and it happened because of this dude that sucks that was like, I'm gonna expose all your secrets. I'm gonna blackmail you with my Eidolon magics. And Frankie's was not that bad, but like they were devastated by it. They were like, no, no one can know about my life. Whereas like Margarita, what got exposed about her was that she was like funneling money away from the tables and chairs, which is a lot more serious. Like that's kind of a problem. That's no good. I don't remember what Atsuki had exposed about him, but it might have been a lie partially. Also, so they were like, Atsuki has problems, but it's all internally, you know? Yeah. But like Frankie's had like their biggest fear changed from looking inward to how did I reword it? That I'll never know myself well enough to know my boundaries. And I'm like, wow, that's so real.
Boy, that's pretty real.
That's very real. But that was like the way to word it, because they not only had these like boundaries broken with like their dad, they also had like problems where like their current like significant other like imprinted like false memories on their brain.
Uh-oh.
No. That's a bad.
Yeah, it's really bad.
That's
talked
like
ahead.
The ultimate gaslighting.
I know. Symbolic was like wanted to make sure I was like okay with doing something like that ahead of time. Like we had talked about it, and I was like, yeah, man, fuck up Frankie, do it. Let's to go. So yeah,
make this guy suffer.
So Frankie had
once again giving a high five.
Their significant other, Skippy J, had actually imprinted memories on all three of us, in the sense that like we were like, oh yeah, we're all best friends with Skippy J. We all know them super well, and this is like a character who had like showed up like all of a sudden, but it was like, oh yeah, you've known them this whole time. It's like, so, and Frankie, you've been dating them this whole time. This is normal. This is real and normal. And they actually made us forget about another character who was important, and it was that character I had mentioned before that helped unlock our Eidolons. His name was Jack, and he, was like a reoccurring customer, but like, in like the sense of like, he kind of was like at first like, this dude's annoying and just shows up in like, it's like, oh, he's a customer and customers are bastards. But then it's like, okay, he's fine. He tips well, and it's like, actually he has some like interesting shit. Yeah, alright, he's fine. You know. You see a dude enough times. And he would also just like talk conspiracy theory with Frankie, so he had like, I think Jack uses he and oh my god, it's been a while since we talked about Jack, so I'm like either he or they, I don't remember, I think it was he. Anyway, But yeah, so Jack was just like, Jack was replaced with Skippy J, more or less, in our heads. And Frankie found that out while they were digging around in their head. They found it because Atsuki actually found it because his Eidolon baby hotline connects chains to like using emotions to like turn, I think it's like phrased like turns emotions into chains. Since it's an alchemist. And he was like interested in something, like we were trying to find like the original plane crash area, but he like drew cards so that he was actually interested in something else that was deep below the sea. And there was like a weird like fucked up candle that didn't go out that Skippy J must have implanted into Frankie, and they're not happy about this. So there's going to be consequences next time we play. They're like, I don't like that I've been lied to multiple times at this point, and I don't feel like I know myself well enough to set boundaries about this lying to me.
Yeah. Seems like an especially rude thing to do to someone with issues around boundaries.
Especially because I don't think Frankie like realized they had issues with it like immediately. They were just like, I just don't like looking inside. I don't know. Let's just think about other things. Which, fair enough. But
introspection hard. You don't always have the energy for that shit.
Yeah. And, like, a lot of it is, like, very, like, yeah, okay, we wouldn't have, like, magic-y shit in real life. But, like, the boundary setting thing, that is a real thing that happens in real life that I myself have trouble with. And I was like, oh, guess Frankie does now. But they're also like, damn, I'm just a normal person. Like, yes, I have magic. Obviously, that makes me different, but, like, so do all these other people, you know? So, thinking about, you know, they were like, I don't want to become like my dad either. So, I think that's part of it. They're, like, looking internally and seeing only him. Oh, and then there's this whole, like, reoccurring thing where Dick Valentine keeps showing up. He's the lead singer of Electric Six. And we got 12 of them, actually, and it was the 12 Days of Dickness. So what ended up happening was Dick Valentine was the luck spirit. So whenever the wild card draws either their dissonant or resonant card, a luck spirit appears. You know, in the Eidolon podcast, you would, you know, Lady Luck, or the two luck cats in Disca, like those kind of luck spirits. And ours was Dick Valentine, and he either was an asshole or was nice, depending on, you know, if it was resonant or dissonant. And we eventually put it together that it was like, oh, these are just, like, yes, these are Dick Valentines, but they're also like, oh, you're remembering good and bad times with your dad kind of thing. So it's like, Dick Valentine is a representation of your father.
Oh,
like,
boy.
oh, cool.
Cool.
Because the Undertow can just do that, you know? It can just be like, this is real. Metaphor is physical now. But we missed Dickmas because that happened during the time that everyone was inside of Frankie's head. I don't know what Dickmas was going to be, other than they were singing a bunch of carols with Dick-themed funny jokes.
Wow, that's so funny. I'm ha-haing right now.
Was Richard Cheese also there?
Who?
Richard Cheese. He's a musician.
No, he wasn't. No dick cheese there. I'm sorry.
Mm-hmm.
Gotta take it up with Symbolic, I guess. But, that... It's fun. And it's funny because now... Like, Frankie's had, like, those, like, fun, like, hero moments of, like, wow, I kicked someone's ass. Like, I think, and here's one of those things where, like, one of the players can correct me if I'm wrong, but I think Frankie might have done the first murder on camera.
Nice.
That's not nice.
Listen, I don't want to get too far into it, but the person they killed was bad. Like, and not in like the like, oh, they're bad and I can redeem, like, kind of irredeemably bad.
Uh-huh.
And they did it to like save their friend that was captured by this guy. And it was kind of like, yeah, I mean, it's complicated, right? But it was like, it made sense for Frankie in the moment to be like, I gotta take this dude's life. This dude cannot be doing this over and over again. And they were like, Frankie didn't want to be like, I'm gonna fucking call the cops on this guy for being a sicko. It was like, I'm gonna kill this guy because he has magic and I don't know if anyone else can stop him.
Meanwhile, the game that you're running, the party has caused -1 deaths.
Well,
You know, true.
it balanced out, technically. Listen, it made sense. I promise. I'm not just being like, I'm a murder hobo. It made sense in the moment.
Sometimes you gotta end a guy.
More or less, Frankie killed like a rapist, so.
Yeah.
So. Like.
Yeah, fuck that guy.
Yeah. But. Yeah, and like, all the characters that aren't the 3 main characters have like their Eidolons named after various songs, and I'm blanking on all of the Electric Six songs that they're named after, and that sucks, and that's too bad because it's a lot of fun, and I'm very sad about it. There's a list of NPCs, and Midori's is making progress, which why it went so crazy and like she started to melt was because she kept like trying. I don't exactly remember everything because that was the first fucking session, but it was very like, you're extremely efficient in like working now. Because, you know, she is the boss, for better or worse. And there was also, like, a bunch of references to things like the green building is in, like, some Electric Six song. And we turned that green building on, and it changed the undertow. There was just like a lot of interesting things that happened, but I was just like, I want to talk about Frankie. I also there was a moment like the first time that we went to the undertow intentionally, we had to meet up with this guy called Jimmy No Shoes. And in order to meet up with this guy, Jimmy No Shoes, we had to give him sexy trash. And what sexy trash was up to our characters. So
interesting.
I have an expression on my face.
Yes. Sexy trash could be something like, wow, these trashy manga that aren't even that sexy, but like, you grew up liking them, or a vibrator that doesn't work, that's sexy trash. You know, like there's various things that could be considered sexy trash.
Would Mylar crinkle balls count as sexy trash?
I don't know. Mylar crinkle balls. That sounds familiar, but I'm like...
No, like the little Mylar crinkle balls that they sell as cat toys.
What's sexy about that?
Yeah, that's why I was like, what's sexy about that?
No, like in a non-horny way?
Explain yourself.
Like in a not completely non-horny way?
I have no idea what you're talking about.
It's basically just a piece of trash, but it's like nice and shiny, and you have to buy it, so it's like sexy trash.
Oh, yeah. I mean, that would count. If that counted to your character, that would count. Yeah, yeah.
Once again, you're explaining what sexy is, and I have no idea how to process it.
I mean, I guess it would make more sense if it was
that
like,
makes it a recurring bit.
If this is like expensive trash, or like, because I was like, I don't know if I would call those sexy. When you first said it, I was like, are they like balls you?
There is a non-horny meaning for sexy, where something is just like appealing and exciting.
Yeah, but I also would not necessarily call those appealing.
Yeah, I mean, to a cat, they are.
Yeah, and if you were playing a beast Eidolon and you were a cat, you'd probably bring those. That'd be great. That'd be... But, like, you a human, if you think of the phrase sexy trash for yourself, and it doesn't have to be horny. Like, it can be like, oh, there's this, like, very, like... You know what? If someone printed out one of, like, Emmy's, like, Mewtwo pictures and, like, crumpled it up... Yeah. That would be sexy trash to me. That would be non-horny sexy trash to me, maybe. Maybe a little horny. But not to Emmy. You know? Or like, that's kind of what I meant by like the anime. Like, it wasn't hentai. It was just like innocent, kind of, but it was like, it's one of those things where, like, you have an attachment to it because you, like, grew up with it. So you're like, I feel complicated towards this. So I'm going to give this up for sexy trash reasons.
I mean, to be clear, my brain just approached it from the exact opposite direction.
Yeah.
Of take normal trash and what is the sexy version of normal trash, not take something sexy and make it trash.
Okay. Yeah. I think that was why. That was part of it. It was because I think the way, like, I kept approaching it was, like, sexy thing become trash instead of trash become sexy.
Yes.
I don't want to say what I thought you meant when you said Mylar balls, but I'm sure you can think about it if you think a little too long.
Oh, no.
But, anyway.
Oh, no.
Yeah. So...
I regret my decisions.
Hey, listen. You brought it up.
Innocently.
I know, but in conjunction with what we were talking about, I couldn't think of it innocently. Frankie's been a lot of different playbooks. They have been a pile of snakes called Rattlesnake.
Yeah.
Their most popular song. And since they say the name Rattlesnake over and over and over again, their Eidolon powers, that they could repeat themselves over and over again.
That's how you end up with a pile of snakes instead of just one.
Yeah, exactly. I think I pinned them somewhere, actually. I don't know if this is interesting to you guys, but,
Of course it is.
There's stuff like tetrachromacy, where my Eidolon can perfectly sense ultraviolet radiation in the area around it. Like seeing lightning and stuff, because that's like in ultraviolet rays. Fishing for fishies. They had a fishing pole as an Eidolon. As like a
Beach Boy.
Virtuoso Eidolon.
Yeah.
I said people vultures earlier. Gamma knives are a real thing in, like, surgery, but I just took gamma knife literally, and I was like, it's a real physical knife that I can cut energy with.
Nice.
One of their vanguard powers is they just use lightning to obliterate enemies. Pretty straightforward there. Being able to can cloak itself from detection by hiding in gravity and attack from hiding with beanstalk vines. That's invisible face. So yeah, just various King Gizzard songs that I know. Aren't you impressed with my knowledge? No. My Eidolon can warp reality around... It's called Wawa. My Eidolon can warp reality around me by making cartoons, rubber hose creatures appear. I don't remember why I used, like, wow. I loved that power, but I don't remember why I was like, yeah, Wawa fits for that. Not Wawa like the store, but like Wawa, like WAH. I feel like, maybe there was like a cartoon noise in that song. That kind of sounds like a cartoon noise, but to me, that one was cool. But it also ended up with me creating an NPC who's just a living, talking hoagie.
Great.
Who still exists even though that Eidolon power has been turned off.
Incredible.
Right.
So he is kind of my son.
What's his name?
His name is just Cartoon Hoagie. He never got like a name. Like in my ties, he's listed as Hoagie. His name is just Hoagie.
That's a little bit sad.
I don't think Frankie expected them to, like, survive past their Eidolon power. And I think they're kind of, like, now Cartoon Hoagie... I mean, they were kind of, like, due to some draws, they were enemies initially, actually. And then they became friends. So I think Hoagie is trying to find their life on their own and may or may not give themselves a name. And I think that's beautiful.
Yes. We are big fans of giving yourself a name.
Oh, literally it is Cartoon Hoagie also because we were talking about how Wawa sounds like the store Wawa. That's why I even thought of it. Because I was like, yeah, I guess you could have cartoon food. I don't know. Just anything. Just that rubber hose, like, silly cartoon style around me.
Very Gear 5 coded.
What?
That's for all the One Piece fans out there.
It's like a One Piece... Yeah, I was like, I think that's a One Piece reference, but...
Yeah?
Okay.
I don't know. Luffy's kind of a rubber hose. Literally, so... You know.
Pretty much.
Also, I just had one where I could cast hexes because that was an inhuman power and the Eidolon was Sadie Sorceress. And I was like, that's cool. I had to think of what a hex was. Which...
It's the most high-tech shape.
True. I should have gone with that. But no, I went with... Like, I meant in, like, a magic sense. Like, would they be like, what's a curse? What's a hex? What's magic? How is this different than Eidolon magic? It was just like, they're a wizard for now. They're a sorceress for now, I guess, technically. But, there was a dude with flamingo powers. That was the dude that Frankie killed. But his powers were cool. He sucked, but his powers were cool, and that's how it works sometimes.
Yeah, indeed.
The worst guy has cool powers. I don't have a lot more I necessarily, I mean, other than like,
I mean, yeah, we could start wrapping it up then.
I probably could talk longer, but my throat's also getting a little funky right now.
Yeah. Understandable.
And yeah, maybe it'll give space for my other players to come on. I'm like, come on, hosts, guests. Yeah, it's fun. I recommend a silly Eidolon campaign.
Pretty good game.
And I like.
Maybe I'll run like a mini campaign of it someday. I don't know.
That'd be sick. I would be down.
Yeah, I'm remembering Interstitial. I'm just like imagining just like the weirdest of Eidolon campaigns.
I'm also like, will it be double the length that you expect it to be?
I mean, maybe.
It's okay. Listen,
that's just running games.
That's just what happened with Eidolon Urbex too. That's why it's still happening. I was like, yeah, it'll just be a little bit longer.
Yeah, I mean that happened with Fellowship too.
Listen, I still think 14 sessions is pretty compact, especially for all the wild shit we got done.
Oh, yeah, definitely. That's like shorter than maybe anything I've ever.
Yeah.
Like, other than like one shots, that's like the shortest like campaign length I've seen.
Yeah. Versus 40 for our last campaign.
I lost track for Eidolon, unfortunately. I do believe we're in like the teens, but we might actually have hit 20. I'm not sure.
Patrick probably knows.
Patrick is a lot better at keeping track than the DM. Yay!
Hooray! Well, I only know for Fellowship 2 because I kept a paper journal about it, and I wrote the number of sessions at the top each time.
I keep notes, but then I lose track, and I'm like, fuck.
Yeah.
What number was this? And did I skip some notes accidentally? And then the last couple sessions, I fucking forgot notes. So, it's hard. It's hard to keep up with. It's running a game and taking notes. So I applaud you, Izzy, for keeping a journal. It's not easy for my brain specifically to work that way. I think I may have ADHD.
Yes, I definitely have ADHD, and you've watched how my brain works. I need to take notes.
Or you could just be like, YOLO. No. I know how your brain works. Sometimes I just pull stuff out of my butt, though.
That's what all good GMs do.
Oh, no. It's more of my mind leapt to like 5 different places. Which one did we actually do?
Right, yep, Definitely. You're like, I thought of all these things, but which one actually happened? I don't know. I don't remember. I would actually, I want to say, Symbolic Godzilla is definitely more of like can like make up NPC, and like I can too, and like I know people do it, and you have, and like everyone's done it, but like they actually have these like cool little cards that they can draw to like help them make decisions that are separate from like the tarot deck.
Oh, that's a good idea.
Yeah. And I think it's like I think that one is a GM specific one, but like even if you just have a second tarot deck, I think that could help with just like making decisions, because you can be like, okay, does this happen? Yes, no. Draw a good card. Yes. I think that's a fun idea, and so Symbolic has definitely just been able to like go in a completely different direction when we've taken it in a completely different direction before. And I'm like, wow.
Nice.
Yeah. I think that's all I have. I've been talking long enough.
Yeah, we can start wrapping up then.
Yeah.
I'm Emory. You can find me on a podcast called We Rate Queerbait, where we explore the blurry line between homie and homo. We fucking haven't published as many episodes as we should have been doing because I'm very tired and it's hard to cram in, the fucking extra half hour it takes to publish a podcast sometimes. Well, not even half an hour. I'm just tired. Anyway.
Yeah.
I'm working on it. Things are hard out there. But I'm working on editing the brand new Animal episode at the moment. I think that's gonna be a pretty fun one.
Ooh.
And I'm also on for Affinity with the username Space Robot. Don't commission me. I'm too busy.
Aww. Damn. The pros and cons of being employed.
Yeah. The pros, money. The cons, everything.
Yeah. That's kind of how I feel too. That's why I'm like editing. I can't. My brain.
Yeah.
Especially because it's also like not just I'm working, but also my brain has a hard time with like the not being able to do this perfectly thing.
Yeah.
So just like the two things together, it like really stresses me out. So that's why I don't edit. I'm sorry. You can find me on Tumblr and Blue Sky. More Tumblr, honestly, at Haunting the Morg. You can also find me on co-host at Gengar. You can find my other podcast, The Sonic Hustle, a complete and total Sonic lore podcast, making our way downtown through Adventure 2. We're talking about the Dark Story, and we're talking about Shadow, my boy Shadow. Very exciting that
Shadow, who famously says the words "everybody tries to be straight, but things are still unchanged."
Yup. Famously.
What does this mean?
I just know I wore a Shadow shirt yesterday in your honor.
Thank you so much.
Nice.
I appreciate it. Shadow is my boy. He's my dumb idiot. He's a dumb idiot and I love him.
Shadow's so dumb. He kicks ass.
He's so stupid. He's like, what if Sasuke was good?
Yeah. What if Sasuke was good instead of sucking shit?
Yeah.
What if Sasuke was actually cool?
What if Sasuke was actually cool but still a dumbass?
Yeah.
Anyway, that's it, I think, for me.
Oh, you've both gone. It's my turn.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
Sorry.
no, it's okay. We're all out of it. You two stayed up, and I've talked too long, so now I'm out of it too.
We're all having a fucking time over here.
I had a weird morning. Everything's fine.
Oh, that was amazing. Hey, I'm Izzy. I can be found on the Check Out This Guy Discord and pretty much nowhere else. Except I have done one thing.
Oh?
You're gasping, but you already know what it is.
I do.
Yeah, we do.
Yeah.
I don't think it's out yet.
No, I don't know when it'll be out. It could be tomorrow, it could be a year from now. I don't know. I didn't ask. But I did do a guest spot on the other Izzy's podcast, SCP Research Archives. So you will get to hear me on that at some point.
Hell yeah.
There is a funny little guy on that now. But yeah, join us on the Discord. We have some fun gatherings, like Mondays we watch stuff, Fridays normally Emmy will do an art stream. If not, I fill in with something, but normally Emmy will art no matter what. And
to be fair, a lot of days I haven't done art.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes I'm just too fucking tired.
You did recently, though.
Yeah, I finished one finally this year.
Yeah, and last night we watched the Accursed Digimon stream. And stayed up till 1 a.m. and midnight, respectively. And now we're paying for it.
Yep.
So...
And we're probably gonna continue to pay for it into tomorrow.
Yeah.
You could try to sleep.
Yeah. Check out This Guy is a part of the Noisepace.xyz podcast network. It has cool shows.
Pod Cabbages is back.
Yeah. More. Talk about the shows because I sound so low energy.
Yeah, sure. We have some shows that are back, including Pod Cabbages, 0 to 0, and Middlebrow Madness. If you, and, you know, we've talked about other ones before, but those three have, like, new episodes. Very exciting because they've been on, like, a hiatus. I thought Pod Cabbages was on a permanent hiatus. Very exciting. But with the new Avatar show, they came back. And
incredible.
That's one of our guests. Summer is one of the co-hosts, so definitely check that one out. Everyone I know talked to who's listened to it has loved it. I have a backlog, so that's the only reason I haven't. But and I mean, I know 0 to 0 is good. It's insane. They're doing the Flash movie. They're idiots, but I love it so much.
Yeah. They dragged Sam back in.
They did it. They got him back. But that also means there's a very short hiatus on Sounds About Light, which is also a Noisepace podcast about Kingdom Hearts.
Heck yeah.
Yeah. There's lots of good stuff on there. Sam's on like half of them. No, I'm just kidding. He doesn't listen to this show, I don't think, so my backhanded bullshit. No. Yeah. I don't know how to finish this, even though it was kind of my show. It was the Frankie show.
Yeah.
Hey, Frankie. You're a superstar. At the gay bar.
Yeah, they sure are, huh? Good night, everyone.
All right, peace out.
Bye.
Bye.